What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe.
Saints and the Rams, so Taylor will shut up. I'm just kidding, Tay. I'm just kidding. Those are just jokes. Don't get mad. Right now, the Saints are actually a dog inside of the Superdome. The Rams are favored in this matchup, -2.5. The Rams 5-6 overall, 2-3 away from Los Angeles. The New Orleans Saints, as we all know, 4-7, 3-3 at home this year. For what it's worth, the ESPN matchup predictor does have them winning this game, 51.6% to 48% for the LA Rams. Very winnable game, I think, T-Bob. Obviously, when you look at the Rams, the thing that's going to stand out to me is their offensive weapons and, Matthew Stafford and Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp and what they have as far as, exposing you on some of the edges there, really going to test your corners, your safeties. Pass rush is going to be at a premium here in this game to try to get to Matthew Stafford. Now, Williams, the running back, is also really, really good. That is the strongest part of this LA Rams team is their offensive weapons. It's an interesting matchup, but still.
So why are they 5-6 then? Because that's what I don't understand. And I haven't really understood the Rams since they won the Super Bowl, where it feels like their record has not been as good as maybe the team has been. I mean, I want to say it was a couple of years. Was it last year or a couple of years ago where they lost early? They came on hot late, made a run to the playoffs. Like, I don't understand, like you said, how they can have all those offensive weapons. They still have Stafford playing at a very high level. They still have him great. How are they 5-6?
They won 5 games and they lost 6 of them.
But I mean, you and Taylor watch more NFL than I do. What do y'all think? What is holding them back despite those wins?
So they were injured at the beginning. So Puka Nacua's been out. Cooper Kupp's been out. Yeah. That's really been something. Now they've had some players step up and play really well, but they lost some close games early. They lost a close one to the Bears, a close one to the Packers, and they win 3 in a row, and you thought they had it figured out, but then they play the Dolphins after they get Tua back. They lose a 1-score game there, and then they just got beat last week against the Eagles, and it was close for a while, but the Eagles kind of ran away with it. So they've been real streaky, but I think the injuries certainly held them back early in the year because even their rookies, like you look at Braden Fisk, you look at Jared Verse. I mean, they're playing as well as any kind of rookies on the defensive side in the league, and that was their first and second round picks. So they're getting production from young players as well. T-Bob, they just weren't able to win the close games whenever they had their stars out.
Oh wow, that's funny. I didn't realize they went Fisk and Verse.
Yeah,
they just went brought the
Verse
boys
was
in
19
the Bash
in the first round, and then Fisk was the 7th pick of the second round, I believe.
Fisk has actually had a really good year.
Yeah.
What? Go ahead. What'd you say, Taylor?
I said Fisk has actually had a really good
year. He had like 5 sacks from the interior or something like that, 5.5.
Well, I mean, that's a man who we saw what he could do, firsthand, unfortunately.
Both of them.
Yeah, I don't. The same way that I'm kind of at a loss for how to predict LSU Oklahoma because both teams have been so unpredictable. I'm kind of that same way with the Saints and the Rams. I mean, like y'all alluded to, these are two teams whose years in many ways have been defined by injury. So it's been tough to get a true measure of both teams. These are two teams that are getting healthier. And when you're talking about the New Orleans Saints, it's still just, it was such a whirlwind 2 weeks with the firing and Rizzi. I have no idea how they emerge out the other side, right? Because the Rams should have a massive advantage in this regard. You were talking about Sean McVay, one of the greatest coaches of the modern era, if not the greatest. Maybe you could even argue. I mean, that's probably Andy Reid, but whatever. It may be in that generation right behind Andy Reid, right? Like Sean McVay kind of led the youth revolution in the NFL. And in Darren Rizzi, you got a guy who this is going to be his 3rd week of ever doing it. And one team has Matt Stafford, a certified Hall of Fame quarterback, and the other one has Derek Carr.
Yeah.
So on paper, the Rams should absolutely win this game. But the element that gives me pause is a Saints team that'll be at home and is just playing with so much more confidence and executing at a much higher level and to keep a bit healthier and allowing a guy like Clint Kubiak, who seems to be at the forefront of offensive theory, to shine. So I think the Rams win, if I'm being completely honest. But I see a path for the Saints. And it's the Saints' excellent secondary neutralizing those weapons and the Saints offense continuing to surprise by using Taysom and Alvin and Derek Carr around the edges.
Yeah, so as good as the Rams offense is when they're fully healthy, the defense has struggled, even though they've had some rookies play, like first rounders, both their players. I mean, even one was a second rounder. They've both played like first rounders and both on the defensive line. But still, they give up 25 points per game. The Saints only give up 23. And, towards the bottom of the league are both these teams when it comes to overall defense. And so that's where you have to make your hay. When you look at what they're giving up on the ground, it's 144 yards per game. And so that's going to be 28th, I believe, T-Bob, in the NFL. And so this could be a big Taysom Hill game, to your point, because the only teams that give up more on the ground are the Commanders, the Giants, the Cowgirls, and the Panthers. Those are the only teams that give up more on the ground, and through the air, they give up 218. So you're going to have better chances for more success on the ground against this Rams defense than you are through the air, because through the air, there's somewhere around 15 or 16 in the NFL.
Yeah, and remember, it's not just a big Taysom game, big Kamara game as well. Alvin Kamara is on pace to rush for more yards than he ever has in his career.
Right, but we know he's going to get the football. The thing with Taysom is in every year, will they actually commit to having Taysom Hill out there in his role, because we know AK is going to get his touches. The thing with Taysom is, will you give him his touches? Because I don't know, for whatever reason, it's like 3 games here, and then he takes 3 games off, and then 3 games here, and then 2 games takes. Just be consistent with what you're doing. And if it's not working in the first 3 carries, do like you do with every other running back and allow him to find his flow in the game.
I would say this. I think the Rams win, but because of that, I'm going to give Rizzi super bonus points if he wins this game, because I think the Rams should win, right? They have the much more experienced roster, head coach, and quarterback. Those are like just 3 massive elements. So if the Saints manage to overcome that, then that speaks way more highly of Rizzi than even beating the Falcons or the Cleveland Browns.
I'm going to say this is a Taysom Hill showcase yet again, and they're going to think they have a plan, but they've given up so many yards on the ground that AK is going to get his. Taysom's going to get enough. They are going to find a way to get their playmakers in space like they did last time we saw them, and the Saints pull off an upset.
Let's go, dude. Heck yes, man. Let's freaking go.
27-24.
Taylor, do you want to chime in here?
Like the Saints in this game, and like Jake said, you go back and look, Taysom Hill's had a few near the Thanksgiving holiday where he's went off, most notably like 2 different times against the Atlanta Falcons. But you ride Taysom Hill, you ride the hot hand. I think the Saints take this one.
Ooh, see, T-Bob yields a little faith.
As long as Taysom's not too bummed out about the BYU game. I don't know where his head's at after that. Hopefully he's still locked in.
Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the 2 guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.